Hi, Angie. God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I wasn't on time. It's just, these things with the baby, it happens, and she woke up as usual. Whenever I have something to do, she just wakes up. Oh, well, what can we do? That's what babies are like. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes, well, a couple, like 30 seconds, and I'll just go on with it. Yeah, I just had to shout at John now and say, just come upstairs because I really need to do what I need to do. So, hey Martin, I don't know, I don't think I know you, so hello and welcome. Okie dokie, well, I think I'm just gonna start, and if anybody wants to join in, that's just perfect. Hey Yastin. Yeah, so this video, I decided to do this video just to introduce myself because as of late, I've been adding a lot of new friends to my Facebook, and sometimes you just add people and you don't really have the time to introduce yourself individually. You just, sometimes you do have a contact, other times you just don't. So I decided I was, gonna do this video just to introduce myself to everybody, and to tell you all about my story, about what it was then, where I come from, and where I am right now. Sorry above everything for my bags under my eyes and my face. I'm all tired and puffy, but I've got a 1 year old that does not sleep very well at night. So, um, uh, so yeah, I just forgive me for that. Yeah, my name is Chris. I am 36 years old, and I am a very proud wife of my amazing husband, and I am a mummy to a 1 year old. Oh, thank you, Angie. Yeah, at the minute, I am a full-time mum, and that's what I'm doing at the minute. And I'm also a part-time job distributor for Juice Plus. Um, so where does this come from? Why, where do I come from really? Um, well, I come from Spain. That is one of the different things about me. Um, and yeah, so basically, ever since I have reasoning, ever since I was a very little kid, um, I've I've had different little problems, health issues, and little problems that at that time I didn't really think they were that important, but it turns out that with time they did turn out to be huge problems for me, and health related. So it all started more or less. I mean, I've always been quite a chubby kid anyway. I'm not going to say I was the skinniest of kids because I haven't been. I've never been like that. But I must admit that as of the time I started my development, and I started with my first menstruations and stuff like that. When I was only 9 years old, I think just my my life got turned upside down. Not just because of my development itself, but because of the health issues that came with it. So I started my development when I was 9. Obviously, I was as tall as I am now, which is not much, but I was already 5 foot when I was 9, and I was fully developed by then. And it turned out that it isn't as normal and it isn't as good as it should be, right? To develop that fast. And it turns out that when I was 10, um, we realized and we found out that I had a cyst in one of my ovaries. So, oh my God, I'm getting distracted because I'm getting all of these comments. So I'm just gonna see if I can remove them or do something. Okay, perfect. Because I keep getting distracted. Okay, so here's the deal. When I was 10, I got diagnosed and they found out that I had a cyst in one of my ovaries. And I had major surgery to get it removed. We didn't really know if it was going to be just that cyst because it was quite big at that time, and they didn't know if it was going to be my full ovary, if it was just going to be my cyst, that cyst in particular. And it turned out it was just a cyst, finally. But what did this mean to a 10-year-old? You know what I mean? Like, it was such a shock. I must admit, I have been traumatized and worried and concerned about being able to have children since the age of 10. It turned out to be terrifying. I even had a phone call from my OBGYN saying, she said, "Do you have any questions for me? Do you have any concerns about what's happening to you, to be exact?" And I just said to her, "I'm sorry, I just need to know if." Sorry for that. I'm back. I'm back, I think. I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you everybody see me and hear me? Because my connection just played up a little bit. Okie dokie. And you can hear me and see me. Okay. So, yeah, as I say, I spoke to my OBGYN, and the first thing and the only thing I was really concerned about was being able to have a family. She said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You can be able to have a family and stuff." But I think it's something I never recovered from. I think I was traumatized. I mean, it was major surgery. I had like 17 stitches in my body, and they opened um, my whole tummy. So it wasn't like it is now. Like, you have two little cuts and they sort everything out and that's it. Back then, and we're talking about 26 years ago, which makes me realize how bloody old I am at the minute. Um, I realized, it just made me really traumatized, right? So since then I had that baggage with me until I was quite old, and I actually started thinking about having my own family, right? So that got complicated with time after having my surgery and everything. I started having issues. Thank you. I had different issues. I started being more and more overweight. I just couldn't shake off those extra pounds I kept piling on. Um, I had I lacked so much energy. I was cold all the time. My hormones were all over the place, like literally all over the place. Um, what else? My hair wasn't very good. My nails weren't very good. I don't know. I had ups and downs with my sugar. I did suffer of hypoglycemias quite often, and I didn't quite know why I was going through that. And then with time and with certain things that happened to me, um, I ended up having depression and anxiety, a lot of anxiety and depression, which has a lot to do with me being so perfectionist and stuff like that, right? So yeah, my teenage years weren't the best. I must admit, my teenage years were horrible. If anybody offered me the opportunity to go back, I probably wouldn't. Um, but I got into my 20s and I thought that things were, looking a little bit better. I had a job, I started working, and I just thought things are going to start looking up for me. And I I hit my 23, I think I was by that time. Yeah, I was 23. And my dad passed away, um, which was massive. It was so, so shocking. It was so heartbreaking. It was terrifying, really. So, yeah, that was just another thing to add to the pile to all of my little health problems. Um, you know, my during my teenage years, my head wasn't in the right place. I was just all over the place, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, just my dad's death just killed me a little bit more. Um, After that, I don't know, self-esteem on the floor, loads of insecurities. I had emotional breakdowns constantly. I just didn't think I was good enough for anything, to tell you the truth. And I even got to a point in which I had panic attacks. I don't know, I was so, so depressed, and that made me suffer a lot with my relationships, with different relationships, not only, romantic relationships, but also with friendships and stuff. So, as I say, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I had lots of struggles. It was emotionally so draining. Um, that I don't know. I just got to a point when I was 29. I think I hit rock bottom, big style. Like, I was coming out of a very self-destructive relationship. Um, I had a job I absolutely hated. I had a person working with me that's in the same job that was absolutely so abusive. It was ridiculous. I don't know, my self-worth was in the floor, to tell you the truth, and I was just really not feeling it anymore. So, yeah, a breakup happened with this absolutely amazing boyfriend I had that was terrifyingly horrible. And yeah, I hit rock bottom. I was 28, and I just didn't know where I was anymore. So, I got so depressed I just couldn't get out of bed. All I wanted to do was to get out of the way and stop suffering. I was just sick and tired of suffering, of feeling sad, of crying, of everything. I was just over it. I just couldn't do it anymore. So, I spoke to my mum, and I said to her, I said, I think I need help. I need somebody that can help me professionally. I just think I can't do it anymore by myself. At this point, I think I had been without sleep, in a full night's sleep, for around 7 years. I think that since my dad passed away, I don't think I had a full night's sleep. And I think that was the worst thing of them all. I mean, not sleeping just didn't make help me recover. I just could not recover from everything that was happening to me. So, yeah, the first thing that I did when I went to the professionals, I went to a psychiatrist, I went to my psychologist, and everything else. I was taking medication. I was just out of sorts. I really was not myself at all. Um, Once I did that, I started. It took around five months to actually hit the right medication, to start feeling myself again. And at that time, when I had already been 5 months under medication and everything else, um, I met my husband, who now is my husband. Back then, he wasn't, obviously, and he was a lifesaver. I really don't want to, go into that stuff too much, because really it's not that relevant for anybody except for me. But he was a lifesaver. He did bring me out of a very, very dark place I was. So, excuse me. So when I met him, he was the only person I have ever met in my life that didn't care whether I was feeling good or bad, and he offered me his help straight away, from minute one, regardless of how good or how bad I was feeling. I remember that the first week we actually met, and spent the whole week together. I think I spent crying at least 2 of the days, like almost all the time crying. It was that bad. Um, because I just, I was not feeling well. I was still under medication. I was still recovering. I was still trying to put my life together. And the only thing he did was cuddle me, and understand me, and not judge me. And that is so much more than I've got from so many other people. And yes, I say he was a complete lifesaver. And as of that moment, my life started looking a little bit upwards. I wasn't in a dark place anymore, and I just could start living my life again. So I've been with him now for 7 years. We're married for three already, and yeah, I'm not gonna say it has been 7 easy years. There has been struggles. I've still yeah, go. Your dad is awesome, Jen. I have to say that it hasn't been easy. It's not been easy. It will never be easy because life it has always has ups and downs. And but it's really important to surround yourself by people that actually lift you up and don't pull you down. And I've still in these 7 years I've still had the same struggles. My health hasn't been perfect. I had all of these hormonal problems I had before. I had had bad moments and sad moments, living away from my family and stuff like that. But he's always been there. He's always been my rock. He's always been supporting me, and that's something I would never change. Um, Regarding my health, I was still overweight. I was still having hormonal problems, as I say. My energy was still completely sucked, to tell you the truth. My hair wasn't the best. My nails weren't the best. Um, I don't know. My sugar levels was still going up and down. I still had hypos, and I wasn't eating properly. I don't know. It's always been a struggle. I mean, I'm seriously talking about 34 years of constant struggles with my weight, and I've done all the diets in the books, all of them. I've done exercise. I've been to the gym. I've had personal trainers. I've done it all. I've done it all, and I never actually found that thing that actually clicked in and that actually would help me at all, until 2 years ago. Um, 2 years ago, something happened. Um, as I was saying before, with all of these hormonal problems and blah 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 blah, um, there was something that I never thought of again until I actually met my husband, and it was about having a family. When you're in your teenage years, you're not thinking about having a family, or when you're in your early 20s, you're not thinking about having a family. So it kind of went to the back of my mind, and it was no longer a huge issue for me. But then you meet the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, then you start thinking about the future and stuff like that. And I don't know, you start questioning yourself again, and will I be able to have kids now? I mean, I've got the hardest part, and is meeting the right partner to have a family with. For me, that was huge. I mean, actually having a person I could actually think about having a family with was, the biggest thing of all. But now that I had that, I wasn't very sure if I was actually going to be able to have a family. Um, so after like three years or 3.5 years, we started thinking about it. We started considering the possibility. Um, I must also say that my husband has the most amazing daughter. Um, I absolutely love her to bits, and I think that she's been a blessing since day one. Um, which kind of, made me feel like if I never had a child, I would actually, be kind of a mom to somebody, and actually be able to take care of somebody if the time came to that. So in that way, I actually felt like not as bad, but still, when you've been wanting to have a family since you're 10, and you know, you just want to try, you want to give it a go. So yeah, after 3 years of trying and everything else, we just couldn't get pregnant. So that's when I realized that there was something wrong, that somebody hadn't told me that there was something wrong, and that thing, that OBGYN that told me about me being able to have children wasn't true. So we went to all the doctors in the universe. Sorry, my connection kicked out for a minute. We went possible, and that explained. God, my connection is right there. Sorry, guys. Um, um, yeah. So I was diagnosed with PCOS, and it explained a lot. It explained my unadjusted menstruations. It explained my infertility. It explained my ups and downs in my mood. I don't know. It explained a lot of the things that I had going on, and I had going on since I was a child. But until that time, when I had all of these tests done, nobody would actually say to me, "You've got this problem," right? Even my hypos came from that, and I had no clue about it. So when I was diagnosed with this, the first thing that everybody told me, and all the doctors that saw me said to me, you need to lose weight. Being diagnosed with this, and you want to, if you really want to have a baby and you want to have children, you need to lose weight. It needs to be, that is the problem you've got. So with that, I went into a super strict diet, a diet that wasn't only about shakes, it was about making my food out of powders, basically. And all of this was given to me by a doctor, a nutritional doctor. And yeah, I did lose a lot of weight. I think in 3 months I lost over 20 kilos, and it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome. I lost a lot of weight and everything else. But as soon as I stopped that diet, the weight piled up on again. So yeah, I did manage not to put on the 20 kilos back, but I did put at least 10 back on. And so there I was, back to square one, and you know, not knowing if I was going to be able to have children again, or what would I have to do to actually get pregnant, because my weight had gone back up. So with that, we thought about going into a fertility clinic and trying that way, because we really were tired of trying and not getting anything. It was so frustrating. And if anybody has actually had problems to get pregnant, they will understand what it is that month in, month out, you are hoping and praying, crossing your fingers, not to get your menstruation each month. And it turns out it does come, or it's delayed, and you have a pregnancy test and it always comes out as negative. Those are the type of things that really get to you. Those are the type of things that drain you big style. And I tell you something, if it wasn't for the partner I've got, and I really don't know where I would be right now, because those things really do drain you. Um, so yeah, we tried that. We tried the fertility clinic for once, but nothing happened. We never got pregnant, and it was devastating. It was literally devastating. We had gone through a whole cycle of hormones, going to doctors every day to get my injections. It was horrible. I mean, honestly, if you have to go through that, I really know what you're going through, and it is not easy and it's not good. Um, I know it's to obtain something that you've always dreamt of, but um, in my case, I thought once and that's it, I'm not doing it again. It was just way too hard for the both of us. It wasn't just me. I mean, for me, it was physically and mentally, but for my now husband, it was absolutely devastating as well when we found out that we weren't pregnant that time round. So we just thought to ourselves, well, we're not going to continue trying with this. It's a waste of time. We're just going to do our own thing and enjoy our lives together. So after that, I think it took 6 months, and we got pregnant naturally. And yippee, happy days, you know. I just couldn't believe it. If I tell you something, I literally could not believe that I was pregnant. I did, I think it was like 3 pregnancy tests because I really did not believe that I was pregnant. It couldn't be. So I even went to doctors. We went to doctors to get an ultrasound and check if everything was true, basically. And when she told me that we were pregnant, I just looked at my doctor and said, no, it can't be. She said, Chris, just look at the monitor. You're pregnant. And it was like, oh my God, you know, it was like, okay, that's it. You know, this baby, I'm just gonna put pillows around me, basically. I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything, just in case I would lose him. And it turned out that anything that I tried um, didn't work. 4 months later, we lost our baby. 4 months later. Did I do something to lose that baby? No. Um, was it hard? One of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. So, yeah, once that happened, honestly, we just couldn't do it. We just, I don't know, we just thought this is not going to happen. We don't really want to try again. And we left it at that. And the following year, thank you, Angie, darling. The following year, I think more or less exactly a year later, we got pregnant again. And this time we were like, oh my God, we have to do everything differently. We have to do things in a way that we keep this baby. Nothing happens to him or anything. Must admit that in my first 2 pregnancies, I was going through a lot of stress at work. I was not happy. I was not in a happy place, and stress just killed me, literally. So, yeah, after 2 months, it was 8 weeks, we lost our baby again. Um, as you can imagine, you know, losing 2 babies in 2 years, consecutive years, it was just too much for anybody. To tell the truth, it was just too much for anybody. So, I spoke to my husband and I said, you know what, that's it. We're done. We're not trying again. This is not for us. We have to be happy with what we have. We love each other. We've got our amazing dog. We absolutely loved our Bella. And that's it. That's what our life had to be. So, yeah, I decided just to take care of myself, to start losing weight, to try and get as healthy as possible, to try and exercise and do all the things that I thought that I needed to do, in order to get healthy. So, with that, like, I think it was like 3 months later, speaking to my husband, I said, I need to find something that helps me lose weight and makes me feel a little bit better and helps me get a little bit healthier and stuff. And he said to me, I've got somebody at work that is actually using Use Plus and is a distributor of Use Plus. And I said to him, what the hell is Juice Plus? It just sounded to me like, shakes or juicing or something like that. And I thought, this is going to be something like that protein diet that I had been doing, and it's just not going to work at all. It's just going to be the same thing all over again. So, anyways, I did inquire with this girl and I asked her what the products were about, and when she explained to me what they were, basically fruit, veg, and berries in a capsule and some really yummy shakes and stuff like that, I just thought, let's give it a go. Nothing to lose. We just want to get healthy and we want to be able to work out and feel good about ourselves. And so I tried it. I tried it. I gave it a go. My first 4 months, and turned out 4 months into Juice Plus, taking my capsules, taking my shakes, turns out I got pregnant again, and that was my third one in 3 consecutive years. So, imagine what a pregnancy I had. I mean, I was absolutely, I don't know, it was so hard because I never knew if I was doing something wrong, if I was gonna, I was going to lose the baby for anything I did. If I was going to work, if that would affect me. I don't know. It was just horrible. It was a horrible mental pregnancy. Honestly, it was a lot worse mentally than it was physically, to tell you the complete truth. And it wasn't an easy pregnant physically either. But I just thought I'm just going to continue with my Juice Plus capsules. I'm going to try and be as nourished and, take all my nutrients in as much as I can and see what happens. It was the only thing that I was going to be doing different to my first two pregnancies. So I'll just give it a go. I have nothing to lose. I've already lost two babies. Um, I'm going to take care of myself and of my baby inside out. So, as I say, I took my premium capsules throughout my pregnancy. Then again, the stress attacked me during my third pregnancy, and when I was 5 months pregnant, sorry, we found out that my husband was losing his job, and our life was literally put upside down. We could no longer live in Spain where we used to live, and we had to move back to my husband's home country, that is the UK, and start a life from zero, literally. And imagine that when you're 5 months pregnant and you have to leave your job, you have to, I don't know, it was just mentally draining. It was so, so stressful for me and for him. And we had basically to do everything ourselves, which didn't really help. So yeah, very hard uh, pregnancy in every single way. Um, but we made it. We made it happen. And today I can say that I'm a very proud and happy mum of a 1 year old. Um, can I say and can I confirm that the reason why my baby is here and she's a healthy baby and she's growing like wildfire and she's absolutely amazing in every possible way. Can I say and can I confirm that it's because I was taking Juice Plus? Well, not really. I can't say that. I cannot make any medical claims. But for me, um, that is definitely the reason why. Um, I felt so much healthier when I was taking it. I did stop taking it when I gave birth to my child. I don't know, just because I was breastfeeding and everything was going on, we were moving countries. Um, Honestly, I just stopped taking them because I thought, you know, how comes, how I can order stuff if I'm moving countries. I don't know. I just decided to stop taking it for a few months to see what happened. And let me tell you, it wasn't good. It was not good at all. We moved to the UK when my baby was only 1 month and a half. And I must say, I must confirm that I think quite positive that I was suffering of depression after my child was born. I was hugely overwhelmed. Um, I was in a different country. I knew absolutely nobody except for my husband's family. Um, it was cold, it was miserable, it was dark, it was so different to Spain in so many ways. And I had a child. I was a time mum. I just really did not know what to do with myself or with the baby for that matter. And it just got all on top of me. My husband was going out for work, and I stayed in the house almost all the time by myself, except for my in-laws um that were absolutely amazing and did come to visit me a lot and very often because I just couldn't stay by myself that much. And after like 4 months of all of this, I decided enough is enough. Um, I'm gonna go back to taking my capsules. I'm gonna go back to my program. I need to lose this baby weight that's piling on like nothing because I was that depressed. And as an emotional eater that I am, Obviously, I'm depressed, I'm not feeling well, and my emotions are all over the place. What am I gonna do? Eat. Eat chocolate, eat cakes, eat shit, basically. And and I decided I had had enough. I needed to get rid of the weight. I needed to start feeling better. I needed to work out. I needed to, just do something else besides taking care of my baby and sitting here feeling sorry for myself, basically. So I did. I contacted somebody and I started ordering my capsules, my shakes all over again, and I started ordering my boosters. And 3 months later, I was feeling a new person. I was completely feeling different. My depression went. My husband and I were in a better place. I wasn't as overwhelmed with my baby as well. I was no longer crying my eyes out because I was in a different country. I don't know. I just learned how to adapt, and I really think that Juice Plus helped me a lot in that way. Because when your health is stabilized and you start feeling better with yourself, you don't have pain. I remember suffering of a lot of joint pains when I moved to the UK because of the cold and the humidity of where I live, and I'm not used to that where I'm from. So I remember suffering a lot with that. Like I literally could not move my legs, my ankles, my knees, everything hurt. It was horrible, and I was freezing all the time. Yeah, my hair was pouring out of my head. My nails were breaking constantly. My energy, I just didn't have energy. Obviously, I was waking up every 2 or 3 hours a night with my baby. Honestly, I was crap. And as soon as I started, you feel me? As soon as I started taking my products, I went back to being a normal person. I was capable of actually getting up in the morning, even though my nights were shit, and working out for between 30 minutes and an hour, then having my shakes, then taking care of my baby, cleaning my house, doing everything I needed to do. I'm feeling a lot better with myself. I was able to keep myself busy and not think about what things were actually putting me down. And that is the miracle of Just Plus. That is what Just Plus does for you. Um, Once you start getting the right nutrition inside you, everything starts working better. Even your mind. I mean, honestly, your mind starts feeling so much better. You start thinking the right way instead of twisting stuff and thinking or focusing just in the negatives. So, yeah, as I say, it was a lifesaver as well. Just Plus totally changed my life this year and my view of the future. And that's why I decided to join the business as well, because I think that when you know of something that can actually change somebody else's life, and when you know there's something out there that can make people that are living in misery, and what I mean with misery is really feeling pain constantly, or feeling unhealthy, or feeling depressed and crying their eyes out every single day. When you know that that exists, that that's out there and that can help people, all you want to do is share it. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm sharing this. I'm sharing my experience with Just Plus. I'm sharing my story with you guys. Because if there's only one person I can actually help, that will make my day. I mean, just helping one person makes my day. And that's what this is all about. This is why I'm sharing my story with everybody. This is why I have decided to go unplugged and uncut and raw and tell everybody what I was feeling when I was feeling it. It's not easy. It's not easy exposing yourself and your story to everybody in social media. And whoever thinks it is, it's not. It's really not easy. But if by exposing my story, by exposing my life and what I've been through, I get to help somebody, then bring it on. I'm going to continue doing it because people need it. There's a lot of people out there that are lost. They're completely lost. They don't know what's wrong with them, or how they can fix the way they're feeling. And that think that the only way out of a bad moment is getting themselves out of the way. And that's not a solution. A solution is being in charge of your own life. You know, it's being responsible for the things that you've done right and the things that you've done wrong, and decide that the following day is a brand new day, and what happened yesterday doesn't necessarily need to mark the rest of your life. The future is your future, your past is your past, and whatever you decide to do with your future, you have to decide in your present. And that's it. That's what it's all about. If you don't like your life, the life you had in your past, change it. Make the decision. If you don't like being overweight, make the decision today to change and start eating properly tomorrow. And nobody can do that but you. So, please do choose to be better for yourself. Choose to be happier for yourself. Choose to not let anybody out there decide whether you're going to have a good life or a bad life. Nobody should be in charge of that, only you. If you're being bullied, try not to pay attention to that. If somebody's trying to make you live a life that you don't like, make the decision not to follow. I know it's not easy. And sometimes you do struggle because you think, if I make the decision not to follow with whatever somebody else is telling me to do, I'm going to be by myself. And if there's something I've learned throughout my life, and with all the things that have happened to me, is that sometimes loneliness is not the worst thing. Sometimes being surrounded by the wrong people is a lot worse. So just think about it. Health is the most important thing. Without health, you can't work, you can't earn money, you can't be good to others, you can't help others, you can't make people happy around you. So think about it. Your health is the most important thing. So if you want to change your health, oh, hi Colleen. Yeah, awesome. That's what you need to do. Please do, really take care of your health. And if you need help by any chance, if you need somebody to actually guide you or anything like that, please do get in touch with me. Comment in this video or send me a private message, or I don't know, whatever you decide to do. Get in charge of your life. Be in charge of your life and decide that you deserve better, that you deserve the best. Okay? So, yeah, as I say, yeah, surrounding your life by people that are the wrong people is never good, darling. So, yeah, as I say, sometimes it's hard to think, if I'm not with these people, I'm going to be by myself. But sometimes really is the best option, being by yourself. Sometimes now, since I've had my child, I sometimes think I never have a chance to actually sit there and think about stuff. I no longer have time to think about stuff. But it's not a negative thing. Sometimes you don't need to think so much, and I'm really good at thinking a lot. Overthinking stuff is the best thing I've ever done. And I think, honestly, it's a blessing not having the time to overthink stuff. So, yeah, as I say, just please do get in touch with me or with my absolutely amazing teamie, Angie, and let us help you guys. It's absolutely amazing when you feel healthy, guys. So, yeah, I think I've waffled enough. I've bored everybody to death now. And yeah, as I say, thank you a lot for listening, whoever has been there. And speak to you all soon. Bye bye.